Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church, and I'm here with you again today to talk about the idea of friends. I have a couple of verses here from the 27th Psalm that I'd like to share, and these verses seem like they're diametrically opposed to each other. And so we'll take a look at it and see if we can make some sense out of it. Proverbs 27, verses 9 and 17. And here's what it reads. The heartfelt counsel of a friend is as sweet as perfume and incense. Then verse 17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Well, let's take the first one first. The heartfelt counsel of a friend is as sweet as perfume and incense. Well, I don't know about you, but I really don't like the smell of perfume or incense. For a long time, as an adult, perfume gave me severe headaches. For some reason, in the last 15 years or so, that doesn't happen. But I personally still don't like it. Now, I understand that some people do, and that's perfectly okay. Nobody has to be just like me. But when this was written, perfume and incense were very, very expensive items, and only the very best in society could have them. And so the idea that perfume and incense equates to the very best possible, using that imagery to say the heartfelt counsel of a friend is like that, is to say that the words of a friend are the most special things possible. Now, like I said before, I read one time that if you have 5 really good friends, you're exceptionally blessed. Now, I don't mean 5 acquaintances or 5 people that you know. I mean 5 people that you could genuinely share what's on your heart and be accepted. Having a bunch of those is really infrequent. So here's a friend, it says, whose counsel, whose words, whose advice, whose response. Whenever you go to a friend and say, what do you think? And they tell you what they honestly think. It says it's just really, really precious. But then you get to verse 11 or 17 it is. And it says, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Now, iron sharpening iron gives me the imagery of a knife. How do you sharpen a knife? Well, many people have electric knife sharpeners in their house, so they stick it in the machine and push the button. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. How do you sharpen a knife? Well, I have what's known as a honing stone. I've had it for years. They do last almost forever. And I rub my knife edges along that stone. And that stone is hard enough. I don't know what kind of stone it is. It's an Arkansas hone, as they call them. That's all I really know. But that stone is hard enough that it will gradually scratch off very, very minute pieces of that steel blade and make it sharper and sharper and sharper. In other words, to get steel hardened, and as it says here, sharpened, you have to use something as hard as it is to rub against it. And that takes a lot of friction, takes a lot of effort, and a lot of temperature. If you touch iron that's being sharpened, you'll get burned. So how does this verse apply to the first verse when it's talking about friends? Well, let me suggest this might be the way. Maybe you have a better idea. And if you do, share it with me. That'd be great. But counsel from a friend has to be truthful. It has to be honest. If a friend asks you, what do you think? And you won't tell them what you think, you're doing them a disservice. But how you tell it is the key to everything. You see, verse 17, where it says, iron sharpens iron, means that the words that a friend gives are very tough. But they're not given in a condemnatory way or a condescending way. They're given in the way of sweet perfume and incense. So, what does this mean? Well, it means that if you are a friend to someone, there may be times when you have to give, I'll use the imagery here, sharpening advice. But you have to give it the right way. And that way is with compassion and caring. On the other side of the coin, you might be the person who gets the advice from the friend. And in that case, you have to be willing to be sharpened. You have to be willing to have some of your edge taken off. And that's no fun. I've said in the past, I think some people have the ministry of being sandpaper because they're always rubbing people wrong. And you've heard it, I'm sure, if you've been in church once, preacher, you got to step on our toes once in a while. Well, stepping on toes doesn't work very well. I don't care what most people say. They don't want you doing it. Now, I know some preachers do that and do it regularly, and that's their style. It's not mine, but they have the right to theirs. But the point being that friendship also means being truthful, but being truthful in a loving and a caring way. So here's my suggestion to you today. Be that kind of a friend to someone else. Just be that. You might be the only voice they hear that saves the day. But just remember, it's got to come out like perfume, sweet perfume, and incense. Well, thanks for listening. If you have a need or a concern, let us know. We'll do whatever we can, as fast as we can, to help meet your need. God bless you. I'll talk to you again.